and we've set it up at a place called the Kent House Plantation. They brought out a local band to welcome us, and it turns out that this is the oldest plantation in the whole parish. So this should be a good spot for us to do our thing, because everybody around here knows where to find this place.
Renee's out in the woods right now, looking around to see if she can convince herself that Bigfoots are real. So keep your fingers crossed. But we three are here to listen to your Bigfoot encounters.
Five years ago, I was at a friend's house and was walking out of their door, jumped towards my car, and I heard this scream. It wasn't human. But it scared me so bad that I just immediately began to cry. I just stopped dead in my tracks and cried. It made my inside shake.
My sighting happened about 6 months ago. We were walking back from the little creek, and I kept hearing this rustling in the leaves. And I had my dog with me, and she was acting really strange. And I looked behind me, and this is 6.5, 7 foot tall creature covered in brownish black fur. And I look, and probably about 30, 40 yards right there, it was just staring at me. And almost every time I go in the woods, I get a wood knock or I see it.
How many times have you seen it?
In the last 8 years, probably about 6 times.
6 times near your house?
It's literally my backyard.
Been hunting in Kisatchie, and I seen a head coming through the woods, and I was going, oh, look at there's somebody walking through the woods without an orange hat on. So I put my scope on it, and I was like, I've never seen camouflage like that. I was like, wait a minute, that's not camouflage, that's hair. So I put my gun down, and I sat there for a minute, and I was like, whatever, I'm gonna shoot it. Turned my scope up, and I put it on there, and I was like, no, I'm not shooting it. I don't know what it is.
We left New Orleans about 9 o'clock, May 30th, 1994. As we're driving, we see a figure off to the right. We can tell that it's an upright figure about 7 feet tall. It's covered with what looks to be gray hair. And we could see a muscle definition beneath the hair. As soon as we passed it, I said, well, I think I saw a Bigfoot. It was a personal experience until I found a community of people to talk, and then I started a Bigfoot research organization to try and get answers.
So we had our town hall meeting, and who shows up but a good old buddy of ours, Craig Woolheater. I want to see for myself where exactly he had this famous sighting, because that sighting was the impetus for Craig to start the TBRC, the Texas Bigfoot Research Conservancy, which is the biggest research group in the whole South. So while I follow up with Craig, the other team members are going to meet with a couple other compelling witnesses we met at the town hall and follow up on those stories. We got to figure out where the Squatches are right now. All right, looks like we got some squatching to do.
Matt and I are on our way to meet with Victoria. She's the young woman from the town hall meeting that claims to have had a number of Bigfoot encounters on a property adjacent to her own over the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years or so. Well, if that's true, then there's something special about that property, and we need to figure out what it is.
So where was it?
It was right over there at that big pine tree.
Ah, there it is. Okay, so yeah, tell us the story from the beginning.
We were walking from over there at the creek. My little dog was acting weird. And so I looked, and you could see like the head just poking out, watching. Every time I come out here, usually it's right there.
So it seems to follow you up from the creek area and just...
and comes all the way out here. And it'll stop right about that tree.
And what was the lighting condition?
It was pretty much like this.
Just middle of the day?
Middle of the day.
And so you would have seen the face.
Yeah, it was like black.
Okay.
You could see the brown eyes. And it had blackish brown fur.
Was its mouth open or closed?
No, it was closed.
Okay.
But it was like very observant.
Does it always come that close to you?
Yeah.
Or?
At first, you know, it stayed distant, like by that old car, and then it started coming closer as more appearances I made.
How could it get so close to you if you're walking without you seeing it dart between the trees?
That I don't understand, but I mean, I've seen it a couple times right there.
Huh.
Now, when it's following you, do you feel intimidated by it, or do you just feel like it's just...
Not at I feel
staying
like
its distance and keeping it.
observing, right.
There's something a little off about the details of Victoria's sighting. But before I come to any conclusion, I want to put myself there where she saw it to maybe get an idea of what a Squatch might have been doing there. Okay. Could you see the hands at all? Arms against the tree? Was one hanging down?
See, it was this shoulder and his face.
Like that?
Right, like that.
You know, it's so funny about choosing this position. I would tend to think something's watching you coming along. It's a little more risky to stand on this side of the tree because the more you walk this way, the more it's just exposed.
Right.
I would tend to think something would look out the other side so that it's kind of disappearing from your view and it can keep looking, but again, I don't know everything.
Never heard him say that before.
I'm not really buying Victoria's story. There was just too many red flags popping up. And this location, I just can't see a Squatch exposing itself like that in daylight to a person who's walking dogs. I find that inconsistent with what I know about Bigfoots. What she described it doing, I just don't buy it. Okay, well, that is interesting. What do you think, Cliff?
Well, I'll say this. I'm not gonna lie to you, and I expect the same in return. There are some red flags with your story. The largest of which is that it got so close in the middle of the day.
Right.
There are some very unexpected things about your story, but so many other things are just dead on.
Right.
And I don't pick up any of the signs of you lying.
Right.
No one will ever know for sure whether Victoria actually saw a Sasquatch or not. You can only be swayed one way or the other. In this case, I am swayed. I tend to believe Victoria. Maybe she's not telling the truth, but I'm gonna go with it. I think she is.
Even though this story is 20 years old, I want to come to this location and see it for myself. I've known Craig for over 10 years, heard the story many times, and I know he's telling the truth. Because no one would dedicate their whole life to a lie. They'd just tell it and then move on. Hey, Craig.
Hey, Bobo, good to see you.
Yeah, man, once again, I have a picture in my mind of where the event took place, and I get out here, and it's totally different than I imagined.
Well, we were heading north on Highway 71. About halfway from the edge of the road to the wood line there, we see an upright figure. It's covered in hair, and it was walking parallel to the road. I regret it every day that we didn't stop to get a better look.
That's the most common reaction, though, because your brain
It's trying to,
you're in shock.
right, your brain's trying to, comprehend what you've seen. People have said, well, are you sure it was a Bigfoot? And I was like, I can't think of anything else it could have been. I mean, it was walking on two legs, 7 foot tall, covered in hair.
That's just elementary math. 7 foot tall, 2 legs, hairy. That's a Squatch.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, there
Right?
you go. You run a research group. What kind of reports do you get down around here, like the Louisiana, Texas area? Do you hear like the big, bulky ones or the more like the taller, leaner ones like you saw?
Taller, leaner ones out here, but there are, in this area, there are lots of reports.
Yeah, because one dumb Squatch can generate more reports than 10 smart, subtle ones. You know what I mean? Like one dumb one walking through mud and
Leaving
walking along
tracks
the
all over the
road.
place.
That would generate more reports than 10 ninja-style ones. Just like people, some Squatches are dumber than others. And when you think about it, probably the ones that are seen the most are the dumb ones. They're the ones that get spotted.